Hello, and welcome back to the Crime Reel. Hi everyone, I just wanted to let you know about this amazing new game from the makers of Angry Birds called Small Town Murders. It has 2 million players already and is growing fast as the best mobile puzzle game. You can put your detective skills to the test with the free Small Town Murders crime mystery puzzle game. You become the investigator with hundreds of new levels to choose from, and every crime being a puzzle. You get to uncover evidence, solve puzzle games, unlock clues, and narrow down the suspect list. Small Town Murders allows you to investigate crime scenes, solve murder mystery cases, solve matching puzzles to collect clues, and interrogate a cast of quirky characters such as Nora Mystery and Deputy Shanahan. And to top that, there is a special promotion at the moment where every new user receives in-game boosters to help you solve those extra tricky puzzles. So, if you are looking for a challenge, look no further. Download Small Town Murders now from the description in the video and put your detective skills to the test. Small Town Murders is the perfect game to play. Why not get the whole family involved in the fun and see who can solve the mystery first? Let's get going. Nora the detective needs your help and the killer must be stopped. Download Small Town Murders now from the link in the description. Today's true crime narration will be a little different to normal. So today we take a look at 10 short stories of unusual crimes and criminals who got caught in the strangest of ways. First, we shall be visiting Australia in April 2012 when 21-year-old Rhys Owen Jones and 20-year-old Kerry Mules from South Wales in the UK were on a working holiday. After attending a beach party where a great deal of vodka was consumed, they decided to pay SeaWorld on Queensland's Gold Coast a visit. The fact that the park was closed at the time did not deter the pair. After breaking into the park and having a wander around, they decided to go swimming with the dolphins before letting off a fire extinguisher near the shark enclosure. The following morning, they woke up feeling particularly fragile and were surprised to find that they were not alone in their apartment. Wandering around was a 7-year-old fairy penguin by the name of Dirk, which in their drunken state they had decided to take from the theme park. In a state of hungover panic, they tried to care for Dirk by feeding him and putting him in the shower before eventually deciding to release him into a nearby canal. Luckily for Dirk, who had spent his whole life in captivity, the pair were spotted by some locals who reported them to the police. Dirk was returned to SeaWorld unharmed, while Rhys and Kerry were both fined $1,000 Australian. Number 2. Returning to the UK now, in 2013, 4 men in Chatham, Kent, set up a BlackBerry messenger group which they gave the convenient title of Armed Robbers. On this group they posted various pictures including selfies posing with a handgun and a photograph of one of the gang members wearing a distinctive pair of purple pyjama bottoms covered in sheep. These were the very same pyjama bottoms which he chose to wear during one of the armed robberies. With the level of evidence provided within these BlackBerry messages, the men were jailed for a total of over 40 years, with the judge describing the group as having a cavalier attitude and behaving in a truly amateurish fashion, which would have been seen as amusing if it were not for the serious nature of their crimes. Number 3. In December 2000, fishermen in Poland came across the body of a Wrocław businessman, Darius Janiszewski, in the River Oder. He had been tortured and murdered. An investigation was launched, but there was little progress made and the case soon went cold. However, 5 years later, the police received a tip-off about a so-called perfect crime and were told to read the best-selling crime novel by Christian Baller. This book had been published 2 years earlier. The book, whilst detailing the murder of a woman and not a man, matched the details of Darius's torture and murder almost exactly. Further investigation soon revealed that Darius was having an affair with Christian's ex-wife, and also that Christian had sold Darius's phone online in the days following his murder. Christian was soon arrested, but when the case went to trial, claimed that he had used details from press reports about Darius's murder as inspiration for his novel. This was not found to be true, and he was found guilty of planning and orchestrating the crime and was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Number 4. In March 2015, 24-year-old Christopher Wallace of Fairfield, Maine, was on the run from police following a burglary in Pierce Pond Township 2 months earlier. Having successfully evaded capture, Christopher started to become a little overconfident. At around 6:30 p.m. on Sunday the 22nd of March, the police received a tip-off that Christopher had posted a message on Snapchat stating that he was back at his home in Norwich Walk Road. When the police arrived at the house, they were greeted by 20-year-old Erica Hall, who claimed that she had not seen Christopher for several weeks and allowed officers to search the house. As the search was underway, Christopher posted a second message on Snapchat. Unbelievably, this time he boasted that the police were in his house looking for him whilst he was hiding in a cabinet. The police officers went straight to his hiding place where Christopher was arrested. He was then charged with burglary, theft, and violation of conditions of release. Number 5. In Johannesburg, South Africa, some residents returned to their home to find that it had been burgled, and they immediately called the police. When the police officer arrived shortly afterwards, they sat down with the residents to take a statement from them. As the homeowners were giving their statement of what had happened, they looked down to see that the burglar was lying under the sofa which the police officer was sitting on. His head was just inches away from the police officer's legs. The residents alerted the policeman and were immediately given back their possessions before they had even left their house. The burglar was arrested and taken away in one of the quickest cases the police officer had ever solved. Number 6. Returning to the USA now, an 18-year-old shoplifter from Tulsa in Oklahoma thought that he had found a foolproof way of beating a store's security alarm system. After selecting the clothes which he wanted to steal, he carefully removed all of the security tags before walking out of the store. However, as he attempted to leave, the alarm triggered and he was stopped by a security guard. Despite carefully removing all of the security tags, he had placed them all in his own pocket before attempting to leave the store. Number 7. When a 29-year-old thief in Germany decided to break into his neighbour's flat, he decided to use a technique shown in so many films, forcing the lock using his credit card. As he was rattling around at the door, his neighbour woke up, so the burglar grabbed his credit card and made his escape. Unfortunately for him, the card had snapped in half, leaving behind his full name and bank account details. The police were knocking at his door shortly afterwards, where they found the would-be thief with the other half of his credit card, trying to work out what to do next. Number 8. In 2012, 29-year-old James Allen decided to rob a newsagent in Abingdon, Oxford. Armed with a toy gun, he donned a balaclava and marched up to the counter of the store. Here he demanded the money before turning to leave and inexplicably removing his balaclava as he walked back through the store. As he got to the door, he tried to make his exit repeatedly, pushing on the door before assuming it was locked and tried to smash it in. As he attempted to kick his way out, he fell into a container of drinks and ended up sprawled across the floor. The woman, who he had just held up at gunpoint, walked over and opened the door for him. He just needed to pull instead of pushing it, and he eventually made his escape. However, With CCTV footage of the entire debacle, he was soon arrested and sentenced to 2.5 years for robbery, along with 2 years for the possession of an imitation firearm. Number 9. In 2014, 27-year-old Dean Smith visited his local branch of Barclays Bank in Wales. He only planned to update his address details on his bank account, but after seeing the money in the tills, he decided upon a different plan. Just 30 minutes after giving the cashier his new address, Dean returned to the bank in a basic disguise made up of sunglasses and socks over his shoes. He threatened the cashier with a bread knife and demanded that they handed over the money from their till. The cashier instantly recognised him, pressed the panic button and refused to give him the money. Dean ran away empty-handed. South Wales police quickly tracked him down to the address which he had helpfully given to the cashier earlier that day. He was jailed for 2.5 years. And finally, number 10. We returned to the USA in 1988. Some police officers were demonstrating some new law enforcement technology within their police car to a group of children. Also watching was a Detroit man by the name of R.C. Gatelin. He was intrigued by this new development and asked if the demonstrating officer could show him how it worked. The officer obliged and asked Gatelin to hand over his driver's license to be scanned into the system. When this was scanned into the new state-of-the-art equipment, it immediately identified Gatelin as someone who was wanted in connection with an armed robbery that had taken place in St. Louis 2 years earlier. He was immediately arrested. So there we are, 10 unusual crimes and arrests for you. Last year I did a similar Christmas video. I will put a link at the end of the video. Thank you once again to today's sponsors, Small Town Murders. Please click on the link to download the app. As Christmas will soon be upon us, I would like to take this opportunity to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and to once again thank you for your continued support of the Crime Reel channel. I know that there are many of you who do not celebrate Christmas, or find this time of year particularly difficult, or are struggling as a result of the COVID pandemic, so my thoughts are with you all. 2020 has definitely been a year that none of us could have ever imagined, but as we move towards 2021, hopefully there will be brighter days ahead. Also, just to let you know, I shall be answering comments on this video today, the 23rd of December, but after that I've decided to take a week off to enjoy the festive season. Please don't worry if the channel seems particularly quiet. I will be back with a new video next Wednesday, 30th of December as usual. Thank you for listening to the Crime Reel. Stay safe. Goodbye. Psst. A few years ago we had a Christmas party and the nervous waiter managed to drop a whole Christmas meal in my lap, including gravy. Oh yes. I was wondering, have you got any special meal mishaps that have happened to you? Please let me know in the comments. Goodbye.